Hello and welcome to The Print. Today we have senior journalist, politician, former Rajya Sabha member Shahid Siddiqui with us. Welcome to The Print,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
Mr. Siddiqui recently left the RLD. On Twitter, he gave his reasons about why he has left the party just weeks before the Lok Sabha elections begin. So you spoke about in your tweet, which was addressed to Mr. Jayan Chaudhary. You gave some reasons about the discomfort that you felt as an RLD leader when the party made an alliance with the NDA,
Yes.
with the BJP. Can you, for the benefit of our viewers, once again tell us about what exactly the discomfort was? And also, there have been various reports about which speak about other Muslim leaders also having this sense of discomfort with the party, with the RLD joining hands with the BJP. Can you
First a clarification.
about yourself and
First a clarification.
Right.
It's not about Muslims or non-Muslims.
Hmm.
It's about lot of leaders, Muslims as well as others. I mean, it has nothing to do with religion. Felt uncomfortable and are feeling uncomfortable because with this switch, because this was a 180-degree switch. Because RLD for last nearly a decade was opposing BJP,
Correct.
attacking its policies on farmer issues, on rural issues, on ganna prices, on social issues, everything was being opposed. So that way everybody was uncomfortable. So I was equally uncomfortable, and this decision was not taken after consulting most of the leaders. I don't know whom he consulted, but as far as I am concerned, I am the national vice president of the party. I was not consulted before taking decision. Only after he had taken the decision, after he had number of meetings with the BJP and he had arrived at a agreement with them, only then he informed me that he was going to do it. So it was not in, there was no consultation. Therefore, everybody felt uncomfortable, and especially when you are taking this kind of switch from a, I was, made member of the campaign committee of India group, and I was participating in it. In Bombay conclave also, it was not Jayant. I spoke up. And in the Jantar Mantar rally also, I was asked by Jayant Chaudhary to go and speak, and I spoke there, and I spoke very strongly against Modi government. I said that don't doubt at all ever that we will not stand by you, and we will fight, and we will stand with you, and we will not allow this kind of attack on democratic institutions. And after that, if this happens, then of course I have to be uncomfortable. I have to be more uncomfortable than most of the other leaders.
So what is the sense of the discomfort that other party leaders are feeling, and how rampant is the sense of discomfort within the party?
Unfortunately, it's too small a party, and what we call core vote is very small.
Ji.
And unfortunately, the core vote was mainly from a particular community, and that also community was divided. A large section of it was going with BJP.
You're talking about the Jats?
Yeah, I don't want to mention a caste, but I'll say a core vote is very, very small. And that's why BJP gave him only 2 seats. That is also one reason that most of the senior leaders feel very, very uncomfortable, and even the Jat leaders and the Jat community at the ground level feels very uncomfortable and feels insulted that they have been given only 2 seats to a party of Chaudhary Charan Singh, who used to dominate Western UP, and even Ajit Singh had a lot of influence. So giving 2 seats to that party, I think, is not something to be welcomed by the voters of the RLD.
Sir, if you're privy to exactly what were the issues that the RLD had with the Samajwadi Party, which was offering them 7 seats.
Yes.
I don't think Mr. Chaudhary has very sort of directly addressed the exact issues that the RLD was facing with the Samajwadi Party. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
You see, I was not again a privy to his negotiations with Akhilesh Yadav.
Ji.
So I cannot say what were the issues, but what he told me was that uh, he is not happy on certain seats. He was given 7 seats, but on certain seats which he wanted and which were denied to him, that's where he says the negotiations did not go away. At a point, he said, "We have come to an agreement. Everything is worked out. Everything is." Then suddenly, I mean, when I went to meet him last 1 month back, uh, I went to discuss with him how we have to plan our campaign. And after speaking for 10 minutes, explaining to him what should be our plan, suddenly he said, "Please wait. I have to tell you something important." And that is that we have joined BJP, and that was a shock to me. So I don't know what went wrong, but one reason he gave was that on 1 or 2 seats, Akhilesh wanted his own candidate on the RLD ticket. But he did the same thing in the assembly during the assembly elections also. And assembly election, I was quite unhappy with the number of seats which were given to RLD, and I expected RLD to win many more seats, but it won only 8 seats, and that also because of the minority vote. Because as you know, Western UP, the Muslim vote is about 30 to 40% in number of seats, most of the seats in this region, and the Jat vote is about 8 to 10%, but in certain few seats it is around 15-20%. So that is the situation. We can't say what exactly went wrong, but I think not much went wrong. He just wanted to be part. He realized that BJP is on the winning stream, and he wanted to be part of the power setup.
One thing that he's mentioned in several interviews that he has given is that he was very dissatisfied with how things were playing out in the India bloc, and he
Yes.
said there was a clear absence of any vision, any
Absolutely.
strategy, and so on. And this is something that a lot of
Yes, same me.
observers feel
I
as
was
well.
I was very unhappy, very unsatisfied with the way India bloc was working, and it was not working in fact at all, and especially the behavior of the Congress. They didn't want the India bloc to take off after the Mumbai conclave, and we had a couple of meetings, and then we were told that let's wait for the 3 state elections, where Congress thought that they will come in a big way and then demand their pound of flesh. That didn't work out. Then they wanted everybody to wait for Rahul Gandhi's yatra, but the time can't wait. You can't wait for Congress to have a positive, situation that may not ever come. So you have to work with what you have, and that's why I agree with Ajay Chaudhary, and I believe that most of the leaders are unhappy the way India bloc did not take off. What has happened in 2 days back at Ramila Maidan should have happened 6 months back, and then you would have seen the change.
There would have been momentum.
Absolutely, great momentum, great change there would have been.
So you were saying the Congress was principally the reason why India bloc could not make much progress?
There were other reasons also. Other parties were also trying to pressurize Congress. They wanted more than they should have, realizing that Congress had its own weak points, and Congress was in a situation where it could not demand more. So they wanted a decision on the seats to be taken 3 months back. In fact, in Mumbai conclave, Mamata Banerjee said that let's first decide the seats, then we'll go ahead. So she wanted the cart before the horse, but that was not acceptable to most of the people.
So going back to Western UP, explain to our viewers, how does the RLD aligning with the BJP, firstly, does it go with historically with the ethos of the party? Because even it's not just about history. If you go back to the 2022 assembly elections as well, one of the central planks on which Jayant Chaudhary, RLD were campaigning were to kind of build the confidence of the Muslim community, to build alliances on the ground between the Jat community, between Hindus and Muslims in general. So how does this align with the party's ethos?
First, I'll talk about the second part. I after the Muzaffarnagar riot, because we never had this kind of riots even in 1947 in the villages in Western UP. Even in the towns of Western UP, we did not have the riots. And I have been working there for last 35 years. And my father was also involved in the same region for the last nearly 100 years. So I formed a group, organization called Samajik Ekta Manch. And we started working for the Bhaichara meetings of Hindus and Muslims. And if we say in terms of actual people, then Jats and Muslims in the villages of Western UP. And I asked Jain Chaudhary also to join me. And then we had number of meetings in Bignor, in Muzaffarnagar, in various areas where in a Muslim village we invited the Jats to come and participate, and in the Jat village Muslims. Otherwise, there was clear borders were drawn and they were at loggerheads and they could not see eye to eye. They could not even shake hands with each other. So the idea of building bridges was my idea, and that's where I started working. And after it became successful, I thought I must now give it a political shape and color. So I joined the RLD officially and became part of it, and worked very hard. This was in 2021. Yes, and worked very hard to see that unofficially I was working with them for long. From 2016 onwards, I was working with them unofficially and helping them bring the two communities together, because I told them that without these two communities coming together, you cannot win. Chaudhry Charan Singh's strength was that Muslims and Jats had come together and made him into the Prime Minister. Jats being just very small community. If you take whole of UP, then hardly they are 2-3%. But if you take Western UP, then they are about 7-8%. But with that community, he was able to become one of the most important leaders in the country, because he was able to get the support of Muslims who in Western UP are 30 to 40% in most of the constituencies. The problem with the small party like RLD is that they cannot survive without joining hands with those who are in power at the center. Otherwise, they lose their base, and because they are even those who win on their tickets, they are weaned away by a larger party because they are so small in number. So that is the tragedy of most of the very small parties in India. So that is the problem, dilemma which was faced by RLD also. So I understand that problem of Chaudhry Jain Singh.
So now, if you can wear your political observer's hat and a journalist's hat, explain to us what this alliance does to the sort of Jat Muslim dynamic that we were talking about. Do we see Muslims being able to gravitate towards the BJP because of this alliance? Because there are some leaders on the ground who would say that, Jayant Chaudhary is an acceptable mediator through which we can be with the BJP.
You see, that would have been possible if RLD was given 6-7 seats in Western UP. But giving just 2 seats doesn't make any change, because on every other seat, Muslims are asked to vote for BJP candidate, a candidate who has been oppressing them for long, like in Muzaffarnagar. Even the Jats were, and a lot of farmers were opposed to the present candidate over there. And so Muslims are not going to gravitate. I also thought that may happen. Initially, I received messages कि सर ठीक है, आप भी यहाँ रहिए, हमें थोड़ा रास्ता मिल जाएगा, backdoor entry एक तरह की बीजेपी के साथ जुड़ने की. But I realized then that these messages were coming from vested interests, because there are vested interests in the Muslim community on the ground level. There are some chairmen, some pradhans, so they feel suffocated, they can't get their work done, so they thought through this they will be able to get done. But then I received the ground reports that they are only individuals, they can't even get the votes of their own families to shift. So there is no shift of votes, it's just a shift of few leaders who have a vested interest in joining anybody who is in power. So they will be with, they were with BSP when BSP was in power, they were with SP when SP was in power, they are with BJP when BJP is in power. Problem with BJP was that they could not join BJP directly.
Yeah.
And BJP, and earlier they used to get their work done through a mediator who was in Muslim groups and other so-called secular leaders in these parties. But now with BJP, there was nobody who they could approach the officials and they could approach the government. So that is one reason that some of them are not moving out. They are waiting for the elections to be over and hoping that BJP will, I mean, not hoping, but expecting if BJP comes back to power, then we may have some, weightage in getting what we want. But there is no shift in the approach and votes. One reason is, it's not, you see, it can't be one-sided shift. There is no effort at all from BJP's side.
I mean, but on the face of it, they are sort of saying that we are doing a lot of this Muslim outreach, minority outreach.
Where is it?
पासमंदाओं के बीच में जाके सम्मेलन करना, बात करना.
There's nothing like Pasmanda. Muslims, I have never met a Pasmanda. I mean, Pasmanda means backward.
जी.
Pasmanda means who are, there is no straight lines drawn in the Muslim community as among the Hindus. That, like, I am supposed to be a Pasmanda. I am living in this palatial house. Where am I a Pasmanda? I am not a Pasmanda. I mean, Siddiquis in some areas are regarded as Pasmanda, in other areas they are upper caste.
How do you understand this quote-unquote Pasmanda outreach? As a political scientist, explain to us.
This is a very recent political phenomenon. It is not part of Muslim society at all. It's in only last decade or two, some leaders in Bihar started talking of it because in the Mandal Commission, a certain caste of Muslims were included among the backwards. Now these small castes which were included among the backwards, they wanted their share, but it was denied to them even in Mandal. Because in Mandal what happens is, people don't understand now, it will take time if I want to explain it. Because Mandal what happens is that there are 10 jobs for the back, say there are 30 jobs, out of which 25 goes to the, say 20 goes to the backward. Now out of these 20 jobs, there are about 5,000 applications for these 20 jobs. Among the 5,000 applications, there are 500 applications from Muslims as well. But those 20 who are selected, none of them are Muslims. None of them are even the lower caste among the backward. It is a cream. Then the idea of creamy layer also came. So it's a creamy layer, the Yadavs or the Kurmis and the others who get this, because the cake is so small.
But why do you think the BJP is reaching out?
BJP is reaching out because BJP thought that Muslims will not come to us, so let's divide them. And even if they don't come to us, if we are able to divide them, it suits us. That's what Subramaniam Swami said in many interviews, that our idea is to unite Hindus and divide Muslims in the name of Pasmanda, in the name of women and men. Like they think that Muslim women will vote for them after the triple divorce. So that is what the propaganda is. So the idea is to propagate that hamare paas bhi hai Musalman and Muslims are coming to us. But the fact is that yes, in any situation, 5-10% will go anywhere because of so many reasons. Because I don't like this man from Samajwadi Party and I want him to be defeated, so I will vote for the devil. But that doesn't mean that I like the devil and I am appreciating and I am become a fan of a devil. No.
But what are the options, in a very real way, for Muslims now?
Unfortunate situation is that Muslims have committed a blunder in the past so many decades, and I have been opposing it. I have been writing against it. I have been telling Muslims that they support blindly, they oppose blindly. There was a point when they were supporting Congress blindly, and there came a time when they started opposing Congress blindly. And at that time, I joined Congress because I thought it's wrong to oppose and finish Congress, because it will not be in the interest of the country and secular India if Congress is totally finished, especially in northern India. So now suddenly, after opposing Congress totally without any reason, even the good work of Congress, they joined Samajwadi. Then they are coming back to Congress. And the worst thing about Muslims is that they close their options. Because if you close your options and if you support anybody blindly, then those who you are supporting will not take you very seriously. Because they will think, iska vote to aana hi hai. We are going to get their votes anyway. So we don't have to work for them. Like Samajwadi Party or even Congress in most of the areas think that we don't have to go and ask for Muslim votes. In like Gujarat, they don't even try to go and ask for a Muslim vote in any Muslim mohalla in all over Gujarat.
Do you think in some sense the Muslim vote has become redundant?
It has become redundant because of this attitude of the parties as well as of the Muslims. Because BJP think they will not vote for us, so we should not care for them. The other parties think they are going to vote for us anyway, therefore we should not care for them. So nobody cares for them as even as voters. Their vote is taken for granted. So, and the problem is, if you try to create an alternative, genuine alternative, then that alternative should not be a Muslim alternative. My view is that Muslim alternative will be counterproductive, like so Muslim party, a Muslim League or a OIC's party emerging, then it is counterproductive. It helps BJP much more than it helps the Muslims. Therefore, Muslims have been committing this mistake. My belief is, I mean, as a political, and now I'm wearing my political scientist hat, that in any democracy, if you do not have option, you become redundant. So Muslims should have an option. Muslims should be ready to vote for BJP on issues. Muslims should not be averse or oppose BJP blindly. They should oppose BJP or even oppose Congress or Samajwadi on issues, but not just because we are Muslim, therefore we have to oppose BJP. We are Muslims, therefore we have to vote for party X or party Y. No, we may be Muslims in the mosque, but as a voter, we are not Muslims. We are citizens who demand certain rights. We may be a group who needs a certain, we may have different needs or different problems or different issues, and therefore we may have our demands may be different. But at the same time, we must look at things and on their merit, not blindly. And Muslims in the past have done this blind support, blind opposition politics, which has not helped them.
In this immediate election, what is the option available for the Muslim community? If we could talk just about Uttar Pradesh and then also about the larger election.
There are not many options. Muslims are feeling totally lost, and I think in last 70 years they have never felt so lonely and so ignored as they are that's happening today. And they are not participating much in political activity. Earlier,
is there a loss of interest in elections?
Yes, there is loss of interest in elections, as well as they are not much concerned about the results. So they will be voting differently in different constituencies. They will not be voting for any one party anymore. I think last election was the election where they voted en bloc for the Samajwadi Party. But after that, in this election, what I see is that in certain seats, they are ready to vote for some BSP. In other seats, they are voting for Samajwadi Party. In somewhere, they are voting for the Congress as well. And some few candidates who have come from other parties into BJP and have old, goodwill and alliances with the group in Muslim community, a section of Muslims may vote for them. And moreover, one thing I must say, that there has not been not much discrimination in terms of distributing the ground level welfare schemes. रेवड़ियां बांटने में discrimination नहीं हुआ.
That's true.
Yeah. But when it comes to having your future jobs, business, loans rising in the society, long term, economic and educational development, there they are totally sidelined. They are getting the free ration like others. They are getting the toilets. So far as toilets and ration is concerned, there is not much of a discrimination. There may be few instances here and there that happens with everybody, but not otherwise. So there's discrimination, but there's no discrimination. As I say in one sentence, रेवड़ियां बांटने में discrimination नहीं है, बाकी शेयर देने में, पावर में बहुत discrimination.
जी, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.